Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yoga for Self-Love with Kim. I am Kim. This will be a short, slow flow Vinyasa practice. We'll bring in some spanda, the expansion, contraction of the universe. So we'll be drawing our energy in towards our center, towards our core, towards our midline, and then releasing it back out. So doing a lot of opening, closing, curling in, opening out. So join me on your mats. We'll start in a seated position, so you can sit up on something if you like. You might also want a couple of blocks for your practice. Come and join me on the mat. Find your seat. If it feels okay for you, close your eyes for a moment and just feel into your body. Connect in. Notice what's happening for you today. No judgment. Just be curious about you. And take these next few moments just to spend this time with ourselves, in our bodies, with our breath. As always, I invite you to bring in the intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, and compassionate with yourself as you move through this practice. And if you choose to take the intention off of the mat and out into the world with you. And you can begin to slowly flutter your eyes open. And take hands to knees or thighs. Move through a few rounds of seated cat-cow. So take a deep breath in. As you do, pull the heart forward, lift the gaze. As you exhale, begin to curl yourself in, rounding through the upper back, dropping the chin down towards the chest, rolling the pelvis back. And then with the inhale again, pelvis starts to tilt forward, heart moves forward and lifts, the gaze lifts. The exhale, again, you curl everything in, chin to the chest, rounding through the back. And take a few more breaths like this, following your breath. Bring yourself back to your starting point. Now let's take the arms out to the sides, cactus the arms, and we'll add the arms in here, moving back into our seated cat-cow. So inhaling, lifting the heart, opening up the arms, reaching fingers up, gaze up. And now as you exhale, curl in, bring the arms together, hands together, forearms together in front of your body as you round through the back. And then with the inhale again, you lift and open the arms, lift the chest. With the exhale, hands, arms come back together. You curl yourself back in. A couple more, just like this. And then bring yourself back to your starting point. You can release the arms down for a moment. And then let's reach arms back up. Cactus the arms, elbows out to the sides. Slowly begin to reach the fingertips up towards each other overhead. And then draw the elbows back down towards the sides of the body. So elbows come down towards the sides of the rib cage, fingers reaching out to the side. Feel the shoulder blades gliding along the rib cage. And then inhale, lift arms up, fingers reaching towards each other overhead. Exhale, arms pull down, fingers reaching out to the side, elbows drawing back towards the sides of the body. Couple more. And then release the arms down. Now let's reach the right arm up along the ear, bend that right elbow, drop that hand in between the shoulder blades, reach that left hand around, grab a hold of that right elbow, gently pull it in towards your midline. And then release the arms. We'll switch to the other side. Reach left arm up. Bend that left elbow. Tuck the hand in between shoulder blades. Reach right hand around. Grab that left elbow. Pull it in towards the midline. I'm still sitting up nice and tall here with the head lifted. And then unravel the arms. Let's take it back to the other side. Reach that right arm up along the ear. Bend the elbow. Drop the hand in between shoulder blades. Reach that left arm either up for right elbow. Pull it in towards midline. Or if you like this time, you could reach the left hand around behind you. Bend that left elbow and reach that left hand up towards the right. Maybe you can clasp your hands together. Maybe you just act as if and reach the fingers towards each other. Maybe you just grab a strap here and drop it down from the top hand to the bottom hand, or just grab a hold of your t-shirt behind you. And then slowly unravel the arms, switch to the other side, left arm up, bend the elbow, drop hand back between shoulder blades, and then either reach that right hand around, gently pull that left elbow in towards midline, or reach your right hand around behind you, bend that right elbow, reach that right hand up towards the left. You may notice this feels different from one side to the other. One side may be a little bit tighter, maybe a little bit less flexible, and that is totally normal. And then slowly unravel the arms. Just give yourself a few little shoulder shrugs. And now step the feet out in front of you, so knees bent, feet down on the mat, root down through your sitting bones. Reach the hands forward, hands come together in front of you. We'll begin to reach forward with the arms and then circle the arms over towards the left. Slowly begin to pull yourself back, leaning back, and bring the arms back through center, and now over to the right side. Press into the feet, pull yourself forward, arms come back through center, then over to the left, and then you slowly pull yourself back. Arms move to the right, bring it forward, sort of like you're stirring a pot here. Begin to warm up through the core of the body. And then switch the direction of your circles. And then bring yourself back to your starting point. Now take your fingers underneath the shoulders, press down into finger pads. Walk your feet in a little bit, hug the knees up towards the chest. Could stay here with toes down on the mat, or we'll begin to lift shins up, bringing the shins parallel-ish to your mat. Keep lifting up through that low back, crown of the head reaching up. Could stay here with hands on the mat or take hands to the backs of your legs. Keep that lift of the chest, lift through that low back. Spread the toes. And then lower your feet down to the mat. We'll take hands to the mat, fingers pointing towards the top of your mat, towards the feet. Press down into the hands. Begin to glide the hips forward. We'll come into a reverse table. And you can keep your gaze forward or up towards the ceiling. And then slowly pull the hips back. Bum comes back towards the mat. Come back onto your finger pads. We'll walk the feet back in, hold here, or lift up shins. Keep the hands where they are, or maybe take hands to backs of the legs, or you could reach the arms forward. If it feels okay for you, you could begin to straighten the legs. So keeping that lift up through the low back. Lower feet down to the mat. Let's take hands back underneath shoulders, fingers pointing up towards the toes. Glide your hips forward, finding that reverse table again. And then lower your bum back down to the mat. And let's do that again. Walk the toes in, keeping toes down or lifting shins up. Hands stay down on the mat or reach the arms out. Can keep the knees bent or maybe bring the legs a little bit straighter. And then lower your feet down to the mat. Hands come back behind you. Press into the feet. Glide your hips back up into that reverse table. Stay here, or you could walk the feet out. Toes pressing down towards the mat. Pushing into the hands and lifting up through the heart. Purvottanasana. And then lower your bum down to the mat. Cross the shins. Let's take it forward into a table. Coming onto the hands and knees. Let's roll through some cat-cow while we're here. Inhaling as you lift the tail up, soften the belly down, draw the heart forward. Lift your gaze, and then exhaling, pressing into the earth, rounding up into that cat pose. Couple more as you roll through, finding your breath. And then bring it back into your table, neutral spine. Let's tuck toes under, press into the hands, hug in through the arms. Begin to lift the hips up and back. Finding downward dog. Let's start with a generous bend in the knees here. Find whatever movement you like, pedaling out legs, bending, straightening knees, rocking, shimmying. And then roll it up onto the balls of the feet. Press the heels towards the mat. Now let's bend the knees, crouch down into tiger dog. Bring the belly back towards the thighs. Press into your finger pads. Lift your hips up and back into your downward dog. And then bend your knees, crouch yourself down. This time as you send the hips up, send right leg up and back for a three-legged dog. Begin to bend that right knee. Shift yourself forward. Drawing that knee up towards the chest, finding core plank, hugging in, knee in towards chest, hugging in towards center, and then re-extend right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Release that foot down to the mat. Bend the knees, crouch down. Let's send left leg up for a three-legged dog, and then bend left knee, shift it forward, find that core plank, pressing the floor away, lifting that knee up towards the chest, curl it in, and then send that left leg up and back. Release that foot down to the mat and walk yourself up to the top of your mat. Let's bring it into a forward fold. Belly lifts up off of the thighs. Fold from the hips. Bring that belly back down to the thighs. Hands to the mat or grab elbows. Give yourself a little rock, a little sway from side to side. And then bring yourself to center, hands to the thighs. Press yourself all the way up to stand and bring palms together at your heart. Bend our knees, sit back in chair. Arms sweeping forward. And then take hands to the tops of the thighs. Inhale as you lift up the heart. Shoulder blades draw towards each other behind you. Exhale, you press the hands into the thighs. Draw the chin down towards the chest, round through the back. Inhale takes you forward again. So another cat-cow movement here. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, curl it in. And then sit your hips a little bit lower. Reach the arms forward again. And then fold it all the way in. Hands come down to the mat. And then halfway lift. Plant your hands and let's step it back into plank. Lower knees down to the mat. Lower down, pubic bone, belly, torso, elbows hug in. Press into the fingers. Lift your heart up for your baby cobra. Lower it back down, tuck your toes, and then press yourself up and back, downward dog. Bend your knees, crouch it down. Now send the right leg up, three-legged dog. Bend that right knee, draw it in towards the chest, shift it forward, core plank. Let's step that right foot through to the right thumb. Turn and drop that left foot, toes pointing out to the long edge of the mat. Bend both knees, press down into the earth. Lift up and open yourself into a warrior two. Bending right knee. Shoulders, hips facing towards the long edge of the mat. Arms reach wide. Breath or two here. Let's take hands down to the mat. Step yourself back to plank. Drop knees down. Lower all the way down to the belly. Lift up for baby cobra, or maybe up into your full cobra. And then release back down, tuck toes, and press it up and back again, downward dog. Bend your knees, crouch it down. We'll send left leg up. Three-legged dog. Bend that left knee, shift forward, core plank. Step that left foot through to that left thumb. Turn and drop the right foot, toes out to the side. Bend both knees, press into the earth, lift yourself up. Open to long edge of the mat. Left knee bends. Arms reach wide. Gazing out over those left fingers. And then let's take hands down to the mat. Step it back to plank. And this time either lower knees down to the mat, come up through your cobra, or if you like, take it into chaturanga, low push-up, and then upward dog. Rolling forward on your toes, bend your elbows, lower yourself down halfway-ish. Elbows will stack up over wrists. Come on to tops of feet, thighs lifted. Rooting down into finger pads as you pull the heart forward. And then we'll meet back in down dog. Step or hop it up, top of your mat. We'll fold it back in, forward fold. Halfway up to that flat back, Ardha Uttanasana, and then fold yourself back in, press into the feet, rise all the way up. Palms come back together. And sit back in our chair. Arms reach forward. We'll root down into that left foot, roll up onto ball of the right foot. Stay here or hug that right knee up towards chest. Release your right foot down to the mat. Set the hips back a little bit lower. Take weight into that right foot. Roll up onto ball of left foot. Stay here or we'll hug left knee up towards chest. And then release left foot down to the mat. Sit it back in your chair. And then fold it in. Halfway up, flat back. Plant the hands down to the mat. Step yourself back to plank. Find your flow. And we'll meet back in down dog. Crouch down, send left leg up, three-legged dog. Bend left knee, shift it forward, and step that left foot through. Turn and drop right foot, toes out towards long into the mat. Bend the knees, press into the earth and lift up. Open it, warrior two. And then release the arms down, straighten the legs. We'll turn the feet in parallel-ish, and then turn the toes out, heels in. Bending the knees, lowering yourself down, temple pose, horse pose, goddess pose, knees and toes moving in the same direction. Let's take hands to the thighs, press down into the thighs, find length up through the spine, and then we cactus the arms. Deep breath in. Lift up through your heart. As you exhale, curl yourself in. Arms come together. Chin to the chest, round it in. Inhale, open up arms. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lift heart. Exhale, curl it in. Bring yourself back up. Cactus the arms. Press into the feet, straighten the legs. Take it back into that warrior two. And then hands come back to the mat. You step yourself back into your plank and find your flow. Back into your downward dog. Same thing other side. Bend knees, crouch it down, send your right leg up. And that right knee shift forward. Step right foot through to the right thumb. Turn and drop left foot. Bend the knees, press down into the earth, lift up. Open it, warrior two. Release arms down, straighten that front leg, turn the foot in. Arms parallel-ish, or feet parallel-ish. And then we turn toes out, turn heels in. Bend your knees, lower the hips down. Finding our temple pose again. Cactus the arms. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, arms together, chin to chest, curl in. Rounding through the back. Inhale, pressing down into the feet, lifting up through the heart, out through the fingers. And then you curl it in with the exhale. One more time, open it up. Curl it back in. Lift yourself back up, cactus arms. Press into the feet, straighten the legs, release the arms down. Turn the right toes back up towards the top of the mat. Bend that right knee back through your warrior two. Hands to the mat, let's step it back to plank. Find your flow. Meeting in our downward dog, and then you step or hop or float yourself up to top of the mat, fold it back in. Halfway lift. Fold in, root into the feet, rise all the way up, palms together at the heart. Inhale as you reach the arms up again, exhale, fold in. Halfway lift, plant the hands, let's step it back to plank. Find your flow. Meeting back in our downward dog. Let's walk the hands back to meet the feet at the back of the mat, forward fold. Hands down to the mat. Begin to bend that right knee, draw it up towards your chest, and then send that right leg up and back behind you, finding standing splits. Draw your nose down towards that left knee. Bend that right knee, again, draw in towards your chest, curl in. Send the right leg up and back as you fold in, a little deeper over that left leg. One more time, right knee towards chest, curl in. Extend right leg up and back. And then release the right foot down to the mat. Fold yourself in. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We'll take weight into that right foot. Begin to bend that left knee. Draw it up towards your chest or your nose or your forehead. And then extend that left leg up and back as you draw your nose towards right knee this time. And then bend that left knee, curl it in. Re-extend that left leg up and back. Bend that left knee, curl in. Send that leg up and back, standing splits. And then we'll release the left foot down to the mat. Soften knees, walk yourself back out into your downward dog. Bend your knees, crouch it down. Let's send the right leg up for three-legged dog. Bend the knee, curl it in, core plank. Step right foot through. Again, we'll turn and drop left toes out towards the long edge of the mat. Bend your knees, root into the earth, and rise up and open. Finding our warrior two. Now we'll take it into a half moon pose here. So if you like blocks for your half moon, please feel free to grab a block or two. Have them up at the top of your mat. And you can put the block underneath your hand. If you don't want the blocks, no problemo. Your choice, your practice, your choice. So begin to take the weight forward into the right foot. Right hand reaches up towards the upper outer corner of the mat. Now let's draw the left knee in towards the chest. So right knee bent, left knee bent, right hand to your block maybe, or your mat. And then begin to extend that left leg up and out, hip level-ish, left toes pointing towards that long edge of your mat. Can keep left hand on the hip. Maybe open the arm up towards the ceiling. Let us curl it in again. Bend everything. Right knee, left knee draws in towards chest. And then again, open it back up. Extending out through that left leg. And you have your gaze wherever it feels okay for you. You could look down, out to the sides, up at that upper hand. Let's curl it in one more time. Bend the knees, draw left knee in towards chest. And then the last one, we'll re-extend that left leg up and out. And then slowly begin to bend the right knee, step that left foot back to the mat, and let's open it back into our warrior two. Feel free to turn up the corners of your lips into a smile now or anytime. Let's take hands back to the mat. Step yourself back to your plank, find your flow. Meeting in our downward dog. Same thing, other side, crouch down. Left leg up. Bend the knee, shift forward, core plank, step left foot through. Turn, drop right foot to the mat, soften both knees, lift up. Open it up into warrior two. Now we'll take it into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana, other side. Weight into the left foot. We're gonna travel that weight forward, left hand reaching for block or top of mat. And then we'll hug right knee in towards chest, both knees bent. And then open it up, extend that right leg out and back behind you. Toes pointing out towards the long edge of the mat. Right hand staying on hip or reaching up towards the ceiling. And then we'll bend again, curl it in. Right knee draws in towards chest, curl yourself in. Open it back up, re-extend. Right leg, maybe right arm. And let's do it one more time. Curl in, hug it in, and then re-extend. And then we slowly step that right foot back to the mat, open it back up into your warrior two. And then hands come to the mat, step yourself back into your plank. Find your flow. We'll meet in downward dog. Find any movement here that you like. Maybe a little stillness. Breathing might feel good. Lower knees down to the mat. Come back to sit on heels. Drop over to one hip. Swing your legs around. Plant your feet. Reach forward with your arms. And then slowly lower yourself down to the mat. Let's take the arms down alongside the body, either palms planting down or grab outer edges of the mat with your hands. Press into the feet, down into the hands. Take a deep breath in, begin to lift your hips up. You draw those shoulders towards each other a little bit. Send the hips up a little bit higher. You can keep hands down on the mat or gripping the mat, or interlace fingers underneath you. And then open arms back out to the sides, lower yourself down. Draw your knees into your chest. And then lower your feet down to the mat again. Arms come back down. We'll take it back up into our bridge pose. Press into your feet. Lift yourself up. Shoulders wiggle in towards each other. Pressing down through the feet, lifting up the hips. The knees hugging in towards each other. And then slowly take the arms back out to the sides. Lower yourself down. Pelvis sacrum comes back to the mat. Let's draw knees into the chest again. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then one more time, feet come down, arms come back down to the mat, press into the feet, lift your hips up, give the shoulders a little shimmy underneath you, press the hips up a little bit higher. Option to stay right here, or if wheel is in your practice, you can take the hands up around the ears, turn the fingers towards the bottom of the mat, towards the feet, begin to press into your fingers. And lift yourself up, opening up through the armpits. And then we slowly lower all the way back down. Back of the skull comes down, upper back, lower back comes down to the mat. Draw knees into your chest. Let's curl it up, draw your chin towards your knees or your forehead towards your knees. And then lower your head back down. Let's take it into a happy baby. Your happy baby, so whatever variation feels right for you. You can have hands to the feet or the shins or the calves, whatever you can grab. And if you like, you could give yourself a little rock here, side to side. And then bring yourself back to center. If you're rocking, release your feet. Draw the knees back into your chest. Curl yourself in one more time. Forehead up towards the knees. Curl it into a little ball. And then extend the legs down the mat. Take yourself into Shavasana. Make yourself comfortable. Wiggle, adjust. And then allow yourself to just drop in here. And check back in with yourself. How do you feel now? Have you noticed anything shift from the beginning of the practice until now? Come back to our intention to be gentle, kind, patient, loving, compassionate with ourselves. Bring one hand to heart, one hand to belly, connect in. Take a deep breath in through your nose and then sigh it out of your mouth. And then roll yourself over to one side. Press yourself up into a seated position. Let's take palms together at the heart. Thank you so much for sharing this short, slow flow, spanda expansion, contraction practice with me today. Letting our energy flow. Hope it helped. With love and gratitude, namaste.